What's going on, everybody? It's Nick Gashler here, and today we're going to be unveiling my 2021 NFL Mock Draft 4.0, our second to last official edition at least. And we have a lot to go over because the last time I did a mock draft was 3.0, and that was before free agency and that was before trades. Now, if you follow my Instagram, which I highly recommend you should, at GDN_scouting, I had a post-free agency mock draft as well as a post-trade mock draft because there was a lot of stuff that happened in this month period since my last mock draft to now. But this is my official 4.0 version, so let's get into it. I think it's pretty self-explanatory at the top of the board. We're going to have Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson be the first two players off. The Jets, after they traded Sam Darnold, seem really into Zach Wilson, and that seems like what the pick will end up being. Moving on to number 3, though, that's where it really gets interesting. I like Justin Fields because I'm a Broncos fan and I have a situation that I have going on, but and also for the 49ers, I think that Justin Fields provides a lot of upside for him because he can fit in that system really well. He can learn under Jimmy Garoppolo for a year and then come out and be a really good player going forward for the 49ers and their franchise. And they made this move up the board for a quarterback. And I feel like if you're looking for a quarterback, it's either got to come down to Trey Lance or Justin Fields. I don't think Mac Jones, I don't buy those rumors. I don't like it, but we got to remember that sometimes teams don't always draft correctly or smartly, and that could end up being the point. But for now, Justin Fields sits there at 3. I like that pick a lot. And then moving on to 4 and 5, or I guess 4, 5, 6, and 7, who are all pass catchers in some way or capacity. I think the Falcons need to draft Kyle Pitts because Matt Ryan is only 35 years old. He has a lot of time left, and he could theoretically just be there for a couple more years, and once his play really starts to regress, you can move up or be in a position to go grab a quarterback. You don't need one right now. You might as well get yourself a generational tight end talent like Kyle Pitts and move on with your life. Moving on to number 5, 6, and 7 are all wide receivers. For the Bengals in specific, I don't think their strategy is correct, but getting Jamar Chase at the top and then going for another lineman like Liam Eichenberg or Samuel Cosmi later on in the second round may not be a bad idea for the Bengals, especially because Jamar Chase is from LSU and his boy Joe Burrow is a quarterback. So I could definitely see that being a realistic possibility for him. 6 and 7 are pretty interchangeable. Devontae Smith could go to the Lions or Jalen Waddle could go to the Dolphins. It really all depends on who each general manager and front office likes. I've heard rumors of Rashaan Slater to the Dolphins, which I wouldn't hate, but I feel like it'd be kind of a wasted pick because you really need a wide receiver to upgrade that offense, and I don't know if there's going to be a lot of quality players like Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle available at 18 when you're on the clock again. But moving on to number 8, we have Penei Sewell. He kind of takes a tumble from the 5th spot where he's really been kind of guaranteed to go for the last couple of months, but these Jamar Chase rumors kind of have some merit to them and kind of make sense from a Cincinnati Bengals perspective. So you could definitely see Penei Sewell going here. I don't know if that would be a great decision for the Panthers. I don't know if it'd be a good decision with Bengals, but seeing Penei Sewell there at 8 really gives them security at left tackle because they have a competition between Greg Little and I want to say Cameron Irving, but I'm not sure about that. But Penei Sewell would be a great left tackle option for them. Moving on to number 9, the Broncos get Trey Lance right into their lap. I don't like Drew Lock. I think he's too inconsistent and he needs to find a new home. Trey Lance has that opportunity to be a franchise quarterback, and that is what Denver's looking for. It's a pretty simple pick to make if you're on the clock for Denver, if you're George Payton. 10, I toyed with J.C. Horn here at 10 as well. J.C. Horn is my current cornerback 1. We'll get into that as I release my cornerback rankings video, but I think the Cowboys Corner is Patrick Surtain. They have one guy that they're in mind according to rumors, and I think that could end up being Surtain. He's a good player. He will get in. I have another film session coming out on him, ironically too. We already did the cornerback question, but I wanted to get more in depth with Patrick Surtain, so that's coming soon. But I think he's my cornerback 3 currently. But I feel like he could be that first corner off the board. At 11, the Giants got Kenny Golladay, so do they really need a wide receiver? And there is not really a high-quality wide receiver on the board there. You could go Rashaan Slater. But I've heard rumors that they really like Jalen Phillips, and if the medicals check out for Jalen Phillips, he should be a top 5 to 10 player in this draft, and that's really where you're going to end up getting him if you're New York. That could be a really good pick right there. 12, J.C. Horn. I toyed between J.C. Horn and Rashaan Slater here as well, but I feel like the Eagles kind of have a more pressing need at cornerback just because they have Andre Dillard and Brandon Brooks, who is coming back next year. Healthy. I mean, their O-line wasn't that great this year, but again, you have these guys coming back. Andre Dillard hasn't really played a full season of football for the Eagles, and if I'm the Howie Roseman, I'm interested to see how he can develop, and if worst thing comes to worst, we can just turn around at the top of the draft next year, take a Evan Neal type or another offensive tackle. But for now, getting a cornerback one like J.C. Horn is really something they've been looking for since 2017, and pairing him with Darius Slay would be awesome, and I would like that fit a lot. 13, Rashaan Slater falls right in the Chargers' lap. Beautiful blindside protector for Justin Herbert, and that's pretty much it for that one. Kwity Paye goes 14 to the Vikings. They could go Elijah Vera Tucker or Darasaw here, but I think they have a more pressing need to edge, and pairing him with Danielle Hunter would be pretty solid. 15, you notice Mac Jones isn't off the board. We'll get to that later. The Patriots have been rumored to be looking for a wide receiver one, and I think Rashad Bateman could be that guy for him. He's really consistent everywhere, and finding him in the middle of the draft would be a really good value. Moving on to 16, Elijah Vera Tucker. I really like Elijah Vera Tucker. He's a really good player, and he's going to end up being one of the better offensive linemen out of this draft, in my opinion. And then seeing the Cardinals there, there's not a tight end there, and if there's not a corner that they like, I think Caleb Farley is going to drop a little bit. Elijah Vera Tucker is a very strong pick here for the Cardinals. Moving on to 17, Micah Parsons, the linebacker. It's tough to see these linebackers place these linebackers. Some people have Micah Parsons going as high as like 8 to the Panthers, and some people have him going as low as like in the later first rounds. I think it all depends on how you feel about his character, but at the same time, with the character, I think he has some processing issues. He's only played linebacker for 2 years, which is pretty natural for an experienced linebacker to have some processing issues. Unlike a guy below him, like a JOK, that is a dog everywhere on the field, and I really like him. And we went over these issues in the linebacker rankings from Saturday. But if you haven't watched that, go check that out. But I think Micah Parsons will end up going ahead of JOK just because of his athleticism and the perception around him. 19, Christian Darasaw. They need a left tackle, and Darasaw falls. 20 is where it gets interesting. Mac Jones, I do not think is going to go at number 20. I think he's going to go a lot higher, even though he really shouldn't, because I think Mac Jones is not worth a first-round pick. But I could see either the Washington football team or the Chicago Bears trading up for Mac Jones, maybe with a team like a Denver Broncos or a New York Giants or somebody like that, who, if he's on the board, they're going to go up and get him. And I could for sure see that happening. But for the sake of this mock, better players go ahead of him, and he falls to 20. Moving on to 21, Caleb Farley falls all the way down after that injury. The thing we have to remember about draft prospects is traditionally you see the really good players fall because of injury concerns. And if your medicals don't check out, which in cases of Caleb Farley's, his doesn't really, he's going to end up falling, and I could see him falling all the way into either the early or mid-20s, depending on what happens. Now, moving on to number 22, we have Kadarius Toney going to the Titans. I think after they lost Corey Davis, they really need a guy that can be dynamic and be a number 2 option to A.J. Brown, and I think Kadarius Toney can be that guy. He's got the outstanding athleticism and the ability to make a lot of plays with his quickness and whatnot. If he can improve his production to be more of a wide receiver 2 guy consistently, he's going to be a great pick for the Titans. Moving on to 23 and 24 are both tackles. Tevin Jenkins to the Jets, that's been rumored. And then Jalen Mayfield, these two guys are traditionally right tackles, and it works out for the Jets better because they have Mekhi Becton on the left side. But for the Steelers at 24, Jalen Mayfield is kind of more of a traditional right tackle, but I honestly feel like you could move him anywhere on the line. He's really good, and I think he's really underrated, and the Steelers would enjoy him. Moving on to number 25, Richie Grant is one of my favorite players in the draft, and reports are saying that he's potentially could be the first safety off the board. So I'm going with that. I kind of trust that because I think his tape's a little bit better than Trevon Moehrigs. And the Jaguars are kind of targeting a safety here, so he could be the pick there. 26, I'm hearing that if Azeez Ojulari somehow falls here, the Browns are not gonna pass up on Ojulari, and he's gonna be able to go and be with Myles Garrett in Cleveland. 27, Joseph Osai for the Ravens. He's been falling in recently in terms of mocks and whatnot, but I think Joseph Osai has a lot more upside than you'd like. Or than most people think, and I think he could be a really solid first-round selection. 28, boss man fat, Kelvin Joseph, one of my favorite corners in the draft, and overall players in the draft. He's going to go high, or he should be able to go high, but I think after his pro day, he looked really good in his pro day. He's going to go a lot higher than a lot of people think, which talking about 27 to 35 range. 29, Zaven Collins actually falls, which is crazy because he's one of the better players on the board. I like his instincts and his ability as a linebacker, and he should be a pretty solid pick for Green Bay, who needs a Mike linebacker, and you could potentially move Zaven inside to be a Mike linebacker. 30, Greg Newsome from Northwestern has really risen up draft boards throughout the draft process, and now he could be a first-round pick if his medicals check out. 31, Dylan Radunes. I've been hearing a lot that Dylan Radunes might be a rumored first-round guy that a lot of people are sleeping on, but could be there for the Chiefs. In that case, I'm going to go with Radunes over Samuel Cosmi every single day of the week. And we'll get into that as I get into my offensive tackle ranking soon, but Radunes is a really solid player, and I think he could be a value guy for the Chiefs as a new left tackle. And finally, finishing off the first round, Christian Barmore goes to the Buccaneers. They really are probably going to end up trading out of this pick unless they really like a guy like a Barmore falls to them, who you can sit and be a rotational player behind Ndamukong Suh until Sue retires, and you could put Barmore in there next to Vita Vea. But that's my first round mock draft 4.0. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to check out and like and subscribe. Check out more videos on the channel. We have content coming out every day in April. I hope you guys enjoy. And how do you feel about your team's pick? Let me know in the comments, of course, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace out.